Today we'll be making this animated ornament in our Animation for Beginners tutorial. We'll be using a free animation kit brush set and palette to create and customize our ornament. We start out by stamping each layer and then recoloring it, and these layers will become frames. Eventually we'll have everything we need to create and test our animation, and we'll save it either as a GIF or GIF, whichever word you prefer. Inside the gallery, we're going to tap the plus sign and the plus sign again to create a new canvas. We're going to set this to pixels and type in 3600 pixels by 3600 pixels. And we want this to all be at 300 dpi. Then we're going to go over to our color profile, and we want to set it to the sRGB with the IEC6 setting. Here are the other settings. I've just left them as default. Before we save our canvas, let's go ahead and give it a title. I'm just going to call mine Ornament. Then tap Create. Now we're going to tap the layers icon and the plus to add a new layer. And we're going to do this 7 times. So we want layer 1 through layer 7. Next, let's tap layer 1 so that it has focus. Then let's go to our palette and select our first color from our palette and go over to our brushes and select our first brush. They're all labeled. Then we're going to go over to our wrench and our canvas, and we're going to tap Enable Drawing Guide, edit that drawing guide, and we're going to just slide that slider all the way up so that we have a nice little center point. And that's where we're going to lay down our first stamp. Next, we're going to go to our Move and Transform tool so we can position this. And I have snapping on so I can see the golden lines in the center and horizontal and vertically with a distance of 3, and that's the default, and that really helps. Now we're going to go back up to our palette and select our second color, which for me is green, and then I'm going to drag and hold over the ornament where I want to change the color so that I can invoke the threshold, and I'm just going to adjust it to somewhere around 50%. Next, let's go back up to our layers and toggle the visibility off of layer 1 and select layer 2 and give it focus. And then we're going to start repeating the whole process, selecting our color and then the layer 2 stamp and stamping it. And then we're going to move it with our Move and Transform tool and go back to our palette, put in that green in the center. And we're going to repeat this for every single one of our layers. Skipping ahead now to layer 7, it's a more unusual layer set here. We're going to go ahead and select it, and then we're going to come over to our colors and select that third color, which is a little bit darker green, and then our top layer stamp and stamp it in the center. And now we're going to use our Move and Transform tool to position our tie, cap, and tag. Once we have the stamp where we want it, we're going to go back over to our palette here and select our fourth color, which is a nice red color, and then we're going to just drop it into the tie portion to recolor it. And then we're going to go over to our fifth color, which is gold, and drop it into the cap. And then our last color, which is kind of a white color, and drop it inside of the tag, and that'll recolor it. Once you have everything where you'd like it, go ahead and go back up to your palette and select a color for some text. Then go over to the wrench, tap Add, and add text. And then go ahead and add some text and style it and position it where you like it for your ornament. And for me, I just went ahead and chose Happy Holidays and a different font style and positioned it on top of the tag. Okay, once we have all of our layers here, we're going to select that, well, it's already selected, the text layer, and then gently drag and drop layer 7 and group those 2 layers together. We'll need to do that for animation. Then we're going to turn the visibility back on for all of our layers here. And we're going to go over to Add, select Canvas, and Animation Assist. In addition, I like to turn off my canvas guide at this point. Then we're going to go down and look at the frames here, and that little white frame at the bottom is actually our group. So we want to tap that, and then we want to turn on the foreground option, and that just sets our group as a foreground. And then we're going to come over to our settings and then set onion skip frames to none, and we're going to set the frames per second to 6 for a nice little animation. And then when we've done that, we can go ahead and tap play. When you're satisfied with your test, go ahead and tap the pause button, and then you'll be ready to share. We're going to go over to our wrench and then tap share. And then once we've done that, we can select how we'd like to animate this. I'm going to select the animated GIF or GIF, however you like to pronounce it. When you're inside this export screen, you're going to select Web Ready, and don't worry about the desaturated look. It's going to turn out okay. And then tap Export when you're ready. And you can export this anywhere. I chose my camera roll so then I could test it on my phone. I just love how it turned out, and I hope you enjoy your project too. And also, here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And meanwhile, I hope your holidays are amazing. Take care, everyone.